Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Pick and Roll. This is your NBA betting show on the Board YouTube channel and powered by the Hammer Betting Network. We go live here every single weekday to give out NBA free picks. And also today we're going to introduce a new discussion topic, a new piece of discussion way to convey. We're going to go through Pips' matchup of the day, where he's going to be able to provide you with some additional information into that matchup, what he's looking for, potentially how you can bet on it. And of course, the official picks are going to lead us off right after we go through the recap of yesterday's bets. It was a winning day on the show. It was 2-1. Very well could have been a 3-0 day here, but drop a like, guys, if you've been enjoying the winning picks, and subscribe for more days just like this one. So our man, Buddy Hield, comes through again, paired with Kelly Oubre. The Rockets bets, betting against the Rockets, comes through again. Unfortunately, Jalen Brunson is stuck on 23 because Randall hogged them all. He had 57 points in this game. Pips, your thoughts on everything that went down from yesterday's bets?
So the first one, Kelly Oubre and Buddy Hield, no sweat, one of the easiest bets of the season. It's like early third quarter cash. So Kelly Oubre was playing amazing. Hield had a slow start, paced up in the second quarter, and that's Buddy Hield, our guy. And Houston Rockets against my Golden State Warriors against my Houston Rockets. Also no sweat. Way below average game from shooting for Curry and Clay. They still got it. So even in this situation, everything went easy. We got extra for Curry, one additional three from Clay, two additional assists from Draymond Green. So this went very well. And last one is unfortunately a loss. Nothing to do about it. I think if Randall wasn't that hot, we will have like Brunson with 30 plus points easily. The one thing that I didn't expect happened, and that's Jalen McDaniels on Brunson. When I didn't expect that. It's like 7 inch between them, like amazing, like over like 21 centimeters difference in height between Jalen Brunson and Jalen McDaniels. So I expected McDaniels to be on Randall and to slow him down, so it will be like a ton of pick and roll for Brunson. But Randall had a good matchup, so he went nuts. And when Randall goes nuts, it's like they stop playing pick and roll with Brunson, and they just go to straight up isolation. Just Brunson will get the ball in half court, and they will play a pick that gets switched for Randall, and they'll just put the ball in Randall's hand and let him cook. So he was cooking, so it was like good offense for that situation. Brunson did have the problem was that they didn't stagger their minutes, so they were playing together all the time, and Brunson just didn't get enough of usage, but he was still close to covering this. He had 23, and then he missed one floater to cover this line, and then when they were close in a close game, and then they had couple of turnovers, so game went away, and no more chances for Jalen. I also expected some double teams when Randall was cooking, but they still let him one single cover, which was great for our Brunson pick. But I mean, great. His single cover is great against the Brunson. Brunson was amazing. Like the way he handles the pick and roll is like unbelievable. So he had McDaniels on him, and he's very long. He can't shoot over him. So he will get into the pick and roll and get him on his back, and he'll just slow down, let Gobert drop. So when he's going to pull up, if Jalen is too close, it's fouls and free throws. But if Jalen needs to a step back at least, and then Jalen Brunson had a wide open shot. So it was perfect, unbelievable great game from Jalen Brunson. He's such a high IQ player, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, you get 57 from Randall. We talked about. I mean, look, if I have 50 points, I'm probably gonna take the possessions as well. So can't really fault Randall too much for the way he played. Just unfortunate from the betting perspective, but it is a winning day, 2-1 day on the season, up over 10 units now, 114 to 90 record and a 4.5% ROI, and going to put that to the test as we give out today's two official picks. It's not the biggest slate, but two games that Pips likes here for the official bets, and another one that we're going to go through in the matchup portion that I just alluded to. But first of all, we're going to the Pistons and the Hawks, and we're going to go with a same game parlay on a couple of Pistons guards here, a couple of young Pistons guards. Going with Jaden Ivey over, or 15 plus points rather. And we're going back to Killian Hayes for the first time since I believe it was the Paris game where we bet on him in his home country and he struggled. But go with the 6+ assists.
That's because we bet on his points. He's way better creator than scorer.
Going with the assists in this one, which is minus 117 at FanDuel for that same game parlay. And then there's a graph. And then the second play is in the Cavaliers and the Nets game. We are going to Darius Garland. Back to Darius Garland, 18 plus points for him. And we're combining that with the Cavaliers alternate spread of plus 4.5. This is available for minus 120 on DraftKings. So hopefully Garland gets back into the win column as far as the pick and roll show is concerned. But those are the two picks. Let's hear the breakdowns from Pips. We'll hear both breakdowns before we go into that Wizards and Magic matchup that we want to talk about. Pips wants to talk about. So, Pips, first of all, the Pistons guards, what do you like about this one? Why are you bringing us back to Killian Hayes?
So the first one, easily Jaden Ivey. Like when you look at the lineup of the Pistons, it's Killian Hayes, not a good scorer. Rodney McGruder, not a great scorer. Then you have Marvin Bagley and Wiseman that's going like inside, and they need other people to create for them. And then you have on the bench Livers and Hampton, and that's about it. So it's to Jaden Ivey to score a lot of points with all these guys out. And the usage will be there. Hawks defense is not great. They are allowing a lot of points in the paint, and that's where Ivy strives. He'll just the Hawks play fast paced, and Ivy is one of the quickest guys in the league, and he'll just like get like 3 to 4 layups through transition, and that's halfway through to 15 points. Then he'll get to the line. DeJounte Murray is questionable. They are 14 points favorite, and I think they will sit him out, arrest him in this game. So if DeJounte is out, who will guard Ivy? No one. And no one to be like DeJounte Murray is a great defender. So when he's out, it will be even worse defense for the Hawks. And yeah, I think we could see Ivy taking even like more field goal attempts than this line. Like if I wouldn't be surprised if he's a 17 to 18 field goal attempts for Ivy, and when he gets there, those kinds of usage, he's like more likely to score 25 points than less than 15. So like this one, and the second part of this bet is Killian Hayes assists, unbelievable assist lately. So in the month of March, he had 8.3 assist average. And if you take a look at the graph, that graph shows. That graph shows. So this is 89% clear rate on this line, and Hawks are absolutely better matchups than average he had on these games. So this graph shows Hayes with 28 or more minutes. Last two games he played 35, 38. So they are just running with Hayes and Ivy full minutes. And we can see lately his average is insane. Last 10 games, average 8.5. Like, unbelievable. He had 7+ in 5 straight, 10, 13, 11, 7, 7, and 11. And most of these were like the last 3 games. Wizards are not a great matchup. Heat is not a great matchup for assists, and he's still covered in both. So I just think these Hawks, especially with DeJounte out, they're playing Capella less and less and playing more Kongu, so they will allow a ton of assists. Wiseman and Bagley will be easy targets for pick and roll assists against these Hawks. I expect them to, like, this could be like 250-point game.
Wow.
And yeah, that's just I have doubts on Pistons scoring and their offense, but Hawks defense is poor, and DeJounte out, so it will like one thing over another. And yeah, I don't know if you watched the Hawks last game or did you just give any track on it, but they were up 83 83 points to 63 points against the Spurs on the halftime. So 20 points up, scored 83 points in the first half, and they lost the game by almost 10 points. They
Wow.
scored 83 points in the first half and
And
35 in the second half. It's never seen anything like that. Like,
they probably
and
scored more in both of the first, like the first and second quarter. They probably had more points than the entire
yeah,
second half.
yeah, 40 points in the first quarter, 43 in the second, and 35 in the entire second half. And obviously, like, Spurs scored 75 points in the second half, and Hawks defensive rating was 126 in that game. Absurd,
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
terrible. And the Spurs were playing like Trey Jones, Malachi Ibrahim, Zach Collins, Vassell Keldon, Langford, Sandro. Like, half of these players are like G League type of players, and they
Yeah. Not a
absolutely
good team.
killed against this team. And he had like so many guys to score a lot and inside, and they allowed 26 assists in that game. A game against the Golden State Warriors were also like Golden State Warriors above average, like 115 defensive rating. So like, even though Curry had terrible games efficiency wise and they like shooting wise, and they still had amazing usage. Then Wolves scored 136 points against the Hawks, and in that game, Kyle Anderson had 12 assists. Wolves end up having 39 assists as a team against these Hawks. Like, yeah, I just think that
What is
it's
going on
amazing.
in Atlanta, man?
Yeah,
These guys
they're
are playing
playing.
defense.
They're playing like pace. Their pace in the last 3 games were 105. That's unbelievable, and they are not like used to that pace. Snyder is pushing them, and they made so many mistakes on defensive end, and transition defense is like poor always. Like, I'm, as you can see, how it's like support watching them,
Yes.
like, and all the transition defense is like was poor like for like forever, and now they're pushing pace. So they like there will be so many like Hayes can get a rebound and pass to Ivy, and he'll make a layup on the other side, and that's assist. So it's also correlated, but so yeah,
Yep.
that's about this one.
All right, lots to take in for that first pick. That's why we go. Pips wants to go back to Killian Hayes. We're gonna go back to Killian Hayes. Nice correlation with Ivy, as you just mentioned. Let's go to the second pick here. Already gave it out, but just to reiterate, it is Garland, 18 plus points. Cavaliers plus 4.5 on the alt line for the spread, minus
So
120 at DraftKings. This is Garland's second point section, by the way. The first one had just 18.5. If you go down further, the milestone line is there for the 18 plus. All right, Pips. What do you like here?
these two teams played earlier this season, and it was a blowout win for the Brooklyn. But that was the game when Kyrie and KD were amazing, and but another guy was amazing in that game, and that's Darius Garland, who scored 46 points.
Yes, I remember this
Yeah,
game now.
that was amazing game, and yeah, single cover or switching and single cover of the Nets will be great for Darius, especially because Mikal Bridges will be on Donovan Mitchell. So that will just leave Garland to cook, and they'll focus on Donovan Mitchell, and that will allow Garland to cook tonight. You can show the graph about that. That graph is 86% clear rate on the games when they win, and he also clears this in 80% overall. So that's great spot for Darius, especially with very positive matchup and high usage. I'll talk about this later, but this is when team plays switch defense. So and they have good defensive players like Nets do, like Boston Celtics do, like a lot of teams do, a lot of good teams do. Usually, there are the more usage will be the best players will get more usage. So if teams are playing some defensive scheme like 76ers that were doing like hedge the screens on Mitchell and Garland, then Okoro and Stevens and all these players will have more usage because the ball will be forced out of the best players' hands. And ball will go to Okoro for wide open three, for Stevens wide open three. But when teams switch, Okoro can't beat his guy one on one. So, and the way for him to score is to beat his guy off the dribble one on one. So that means there will be like he'll probably try something and then give the ball to the Mitchell or Darius with 7-8 seconds left on the clock, and this guy will make the shots. So that's why when you have a switching defense, high usage, best isolation scorer of the team of opposing team will have higher usage than usually. So this is the game like this. So you will have probably Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell having higher usage than they usually have, and that's why like I expect Garland to have like 20 plus field goal attempts, and when he attempts those shots, his average is like 25, 26 points. So even with worse efficiency, he should get there. And yeah, that's the same thing against Boston Celtics. Like you always see like Jalen Green against them, 30 field goal attempts. Edwards against them, 30 field goal attempts. So everyone that's like on the team that doesn't have many self-creation players on the team, guys like Ja Morant will kill against them. Like he'll hit 30, like higher usage, which ends up in higher points scored, but on lower efficiency usually because they are all great defensive players. But let's move to the second part. Jared Allen practice, and he's expected to play tonight. So if you take a look at these teams, like if there wasn't a KD, and like I love this team, but if there wasn't for KD and Kyrie push that they made this team like third seed, and if we had this game, like if the Nets were this entire roster for this season, they will be like 8 or 9 seed, and this game will have much higher spread. So I think this is not accounted as well accounted as the new roster of the Nets, and Cavs have the best defense in the league. And with Jared Allen back, I think this spread has a lot of value because the initial spread is 2 points, and I think it should be like 5. So I love 4.5
Yeah,
with
it's
Darius
the
Garland.
spread is creeping up. It's like 3.5 now.
Yeah, it will. I think it will close at 4.
Yeah.
Also, I bet like 20 to 25 spreads, alternative bets, like points and alternative and spreads alternative, and I never missed. It's the entire season. I'm like 100% on alternative spreads or everything. Like I should probably do like more of these because like I mentioned like 10 times on the show when the line spread is too high or too low for some teams like the Rockets, I remember a couple of it, and the total for the game, and also on the regular line, I think I was right 100% of the time. I'm not trying to brag, but probably need to do more of this because whenever I mention it, it was covered. Like when I
Right.
said some teams can win and they are like 6 to 7 points underdogs and they end up winning. Like that's like for now, not huge sample, but it does make something. So maybe going to these alternative spreads in Sengen Paris can actually work
Yeah.
better than some others.
Yeah, I agree. And go into it here. So there's your second pick, Garland and the Cavs alternate spread. We'll recap both the plays at the end of the show, but for now, we're going to introduce in a new segment. The matchup of the day for today is the Wizards who are visiting the Orlando Magic. Pips is going to go through some of the angles that he has for this game, what he expects to see, and potentially some leans and how you can bet on this one. So, Pips, brand new, hoping you're to have or hoping to get some of your thoughts into this one. What do you like to point out about the Wizards and the Magic, especially with some of the other big games in the slate? What do you have in this one?
So for this one, I'll just go to like these teams. Like Wizards are playing classic drop coverage, but not classic as some teams. But like they're playing the Bucks way of defending. That's not over helping. So guys that usually drive and that can shoot the mid range will do well. Bigs like centers that can like self create, like Sabonis that can just get the ball, post up, and attack the rim. Guys that can that can shoot from the like mid range, that like Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, and Wendell Carter Jr. Wendell Carter is not in the first three players, of course, like type of player, but he can shoot, and that will probably be useful against the Daniel Gafford.
Mm.
And in the so if you take a look at the Wendell Carter, he's shooting like 20% of his shots from the mid range. He's shooting 40% of his shot from the 3 point line. So 60% of his shots are great against drop coverage. So he could be the one of the Orlando Magic roster that could do well. Marcus Fultz, as we spoke about, is amazing from mid range, so he should do well as well. Also drives, and that's if we take a look like Wizards kind of defense. So that's the thing to exploit there. The second part is Orlando Magic defense, and that's where things get interesting. So last two games we had, they played against the Clippers and they played against the Phoenix Suns. And the interesting part of these games is Devin Booker against the Magic in a close game scored 19 points, and that was the game without KD. And the thing is, Gary Harris is one of the best players that you can use in your sports betting when you're betting player props, because he's one of the best denial players in the league. So when he's guarding like Buddy Hield, or Buddy Hield shoot like usually he shots like 18 times a game. When you have Gary Harris on him, he'll shoot 10. like he will get his attempts like 30 to 40% down, because he just deny him the ball and like exclude him for the game. So he's probably the best. I catch up on this when Gary Harris one was playing at
The Nuggets?
the Denver Nuggets, and I bet Devin Booker under against him like I think like maybe 10 times. Like it's kind of crazy, but I'll just pull up the numbers. Booker against the Gary Harris for some of you. So like yeah, so since from 2019, Devin Booker against Gary Harris, 18 points, 12 points, 11 points, 21 points, 22 points, 31 points in overtime, 26 points, 19 points. So that's 10 game stretch, and then Booker gone over once, and his average is like his average is like 17 points, while his average is like 27 for the season.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
Gary Harris amazing. Whenever he's guarding your guy, there could be number, there could be closing line value, like it could be everything. But when Gary Harris is got this on your guy that you have overrun, he'll probably get under like 80% of the time. Like that's the thing. Also, not only that Gary Harris was guarding Devin Booker, it was also double teams and blitzes and hedges on Devin Booker, so he was unable to shoot at all. So not only that he was denied the ball, but when he got the ball, they were blitzing and hedging screens him, and they did almost the same thing against Paul George. Paul George still got there late into the game in the last. He was like heavily under, and in the last minute he scored like 8, 9 points and win by one field goal made over. So why I'm speaking about this, because he's playing Bradley Beal against tonight, so that could be huge. So Gary Harris and Bradley Beal with double teams, with switches, with everything could be the spot. I am never betting Bradley Beal under, because he just unbelievable shot maker, and he can get like if whatever you throw at him, if he's aggressive enough, he'll cover this line. And he was covering this line unbelievably great with when Kuzma is out. He shot like 25 times a night. But with all this focus on Bradley Beal, we know they will like completely focus on stopping Bradley Beal because there's no one else. Like Porzingis is there, but they have a good matchup for him in Wendell Carter. And I will actually wouldn't be surprised if Wendell Carter is defending Porzingis and you have Banchero on Gafford. So with all this focus, we could see like more assist from Bill when he's passing out of ice defense, of hedges, of everything. And other role players could step up in this game and score a lot. One of these players is Kispert. I didn't check for his line, but that could be a good spot. Kispert is. I never saw him miss a wide open three. I don't think his line is up yet, but
Not
I
yet.
expect him to start the game, to play big minutes, and he'll score like 15 points. For I that's what I expect him to do tonight. And I'm honestly saying, like, I never seen Corey Kispert miss a wide open three. Like, and I watch a lot of games,
Yeah.
especially as of late. So I'll just go like in 2023. So over the last 35 games, Kispert is shooting 44%, 43.5% from the three. Like that's amazing. And with all this attention on Bradley Beal, he'll get open. And he's one of the best cutters in the game that also works against the Orlando Magic because they are switching so they can lose their guys. So yeah, that's Bradley Beal will score. Don't bet over on Bradley Beal points. I still think he can cover it, but it will be quite difficult. His assist could be the thing to work. Porzingis will get more offensive usage tonight, but he will have good cover against probably Wendell Carter. If they put Banker on him, Porzingis will cook. And that's it. But I won't be also surprised if they double team when Porzingis tries to post up. So it will be a very interesting game, very interesting schemes. It's predicted to be a close game. So this late into the season when the game starts to matter, teams usually adjust. They don't stick to their like usual type of playing. When the game matters, they usually go out of way and double team some guy and change offensive scheme. And this game matters for Wizards, not so much to Magic, but they still compete and try to win every game. So I'll just expect them to like last couple of games they did great job. I'll just check one more thing, but I think I was also right on this one. Yeah, the last game they played the Lakers, and I expect like everyone was on Anthony Davis. And I was like, if they double team Paul George, if they double teamed Devin Booker, they will double team and have very difficult make it life difficult for Anthony Davis. And Anthony Davis scored only 15 points in a very close game. So like expect the same thing for Bill and same thing probably for Porzingis in some parts of his game.
All right. So lots of food for thought on that one. Plenty of opportunities to look at for the Magic and the Wizards. I myself take that information and we'll be waiting for some Kispert lines to open up and see how all of those go down. So people seem to like the new segment, so we'll be looking to do this in some other episodes throughout the week here. It's a good way as well because you've mentioned in other episodes that we've done that you like betting on bench players. It's just when we go live, those aren't out yet. So I get some good information for viewers to take a look at some of the bench players potentially for later on in the day. So we'll definitely be bringing this back at some point in the future, but that is all we got for you guys today. Let's recap those official picks to set you right for tonight's slate. First of all, going to the Pistons at the Hawks. We're betting against the Hawks defense here by taking Jaden Ivey 15 plus points and Killian Hayes 6 plus assists. That was minus 117 at FanDuel. Second play, Cavaliers at the Nets. Darius Garland 18 plus points. This is, remember, the milestone line for Garland, so it's in the second section of his player props on the same game parlay tool for DraftKings. And that's paired with the Cavaliers alternate spread of plus 4.5. This is minus 120 at DraftKings that I mentioned. And again, that is all for today. Let's hope these picks do well. Yesterday's picks, it was 2-1. Let's hope for a 2-0 day on these ones. If you guys enjoyed the show, please make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the Board YouTube channel. We go live every weekday. Don't miss out. Stay up to date with all the content on the Board YouTube channel by hitting that subscribe button, helping us on the road to 1,000 subs. And we will see you again tomorrow for more.